In the age of digital commerce, Facebook Marketplace had become a staple for bargain hunters and sellers alike. It was a place where old furniture found new homes, where second-hand gadgets gained new lives, and where stories sometimes took dark turns. This is the story of one such turn, a journey into the shadows of online trading. Emily Stevens was a single mother living in a modest apartment on the outskirts of Willow Creek. Her life was a balancing act of working as a waitress at a local diner and caring for her 10-year-old son, Jake. Money was tight, and every penny counted. When Jake's birthday was approaching, Emily scoured Facebook Marketplace for a gift that wouldn't break the bank. One night, while browsing through listings, she stumbled upon a deal that seemed too good to be true, a slightly used PlayStation 5 for half the retail price. The seller, Thomas R., had only posted a few hours earlier, and there were already several inquiries. Acting quickly, Emily sent a message expressing her interest. To her surprise, Thomas responded almost immediately. "Hello, Emily. Yes, the PlayStation is still available. I'm selling it because I need the money urgently. If you're interested, we can meet tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. in the parking lot of the old Willow Creek Mall. Is that okay?" The meeting location was a bit unusual, but Emily's excitement overrode her caution. She agreed to the arrangement, making sure to bring enough cash for the transaction. The next evening, Emily left Jake with her neighbor and drove to the Willow Creek Mall. The once bustling shopping center had fallen into disrepair, its storefronts boarded up and the parking lot eerily empty. As she pulled into a parking space, she couldn't shake the feeling of unease. She glanced at her phone to check the time. 6:55 p.m. Thomas had said he'd be driving a blue sedan, so she scanned the area for any signs of the car. A few minutes later, a vehicle fitting the description pulled up a few spaces away. A man stepped out, carrying a small box. He was tall, with a hood pulled over his head, obscuring his face. Emily's heart raced as she got out of her car, clutching the envelope of cash. "Emily?" the man called out. "Yes, that's me," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "Here's the PlayStation," Thomas said, handing her the box. "Do you have the money?" Emily opened the box to inspect the contents. Everything seemed in order. She handed Thomas the envelope and he quickly counted the bills before giving her a curt nod. Without another word, he got back into his car and drove off. As Emily watched him disappear into the night, she felt a strange mix of relief and apprehension. She had gotten the PlayStation, but something about the encounter felt off. Back home, Jake was ecstatic when Emily presented him with the PlayStation. His eyes lit up, and he hugged her tightly. For a moment, Emily's worries melted away, replaced by the warmth of her son's happiness. Later that night, after Jake had gone to bed, Emily decided to set up the console. As she plugged it in and turned it on, the screen flickered before displaying a message. "Memory card not inserted." Confused, Emily opened the compartment and found an old memory card inside. She hadn't noticed it earlier. Curious, she inserted the card and navigated to the saved files. What she found sent chills. The memory card contained a series of video files, each labeled with a date. The most recent one was from just a few days ago. Against her better judgment, Emily clicked on the file. The screen filled with grainy footage of a dark room. A man tied to a chair, his face bruised and bloodied, struggled against his restraints. A voice off camera, distorted and menacing, spoke in a language Emily didn't understand. Her heart pounded as she realized she was watching a recording of a real-life crime. She quickly ejected the memory card, her mind racing. Who was this man? And why had the PlayStation ended up in her hands? Emily knew she couldn't keep this to herself. She needed to go to the police. But first, she decided to search for any clues about the mysterious seller, Thomas R. She logged back into Facebook and found Thomas's profile. It was almost completely blank. No friends, no posts, just a profile picture of a dark silhouette. She sent him a message. "Thomas, we need to talk about the PlayStation." Minutes passed, then hours, with no response. Feeling increasingly paranoid, Emily decided to do some detective work of her own. She searched for any news articles about recent kidnappings or disappearances in the area, but nothing matched the man in the video. Just as she was about to give up, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Thomas. "Meet me at the same place tomorrow at 8 p.m. Don't tell anyone." Emily's blood ran cold. She didn't know if she could trust him, but she had to find out more about the man in the video. She decided to take a chance and meet Thomas again, this time prepared for anything. The following evening, Emily left Jake with her neighbor once more and drove to the Willow Creek Mall. This time, she brought a flashlight and a small canister of pepper spray, just in case. The parking lot was even emptier than before, the darkness swallowing the remnants of daylight. Emily's hands trembled as she waited, her eyes scanning for any signs of Thomas. At precisely 8 p.m., the blue sedan pulled up. Thomas stepped out, but this time, he wasn't alone. Another man, taller and more intimidating, exited the passenger side. "Emily!" Thomas called out. "You came alone, right?" "Yes," she lied, her fingers tightening around the pepper spray in her pocket. "We need to talk," Thomas said, motioning for her to come closer. "I didn't mean for you to see those videos." "Who is the man in the video?" Emily demanded, trying to keep her voice steady. Thomas glanced at his companion before responding. "He's someone I used to know. Things got out of hand." "Out of hand?" Emily repeated, incredulous. "You tortured him." "It wasn't supposed to be like this," Thomas said, his voice wavering. "I was forced to do it. They threatened my family." Before Emily could process his words, the taller man stepped forward, his expression menacing. "Enough, Thomas. She knows too much." Emily's heart raced as she realized the danger she was in. She took a step back, her hand gripping the pepper spray. "Stay back!" she warned. The man lunged at her, but Emily was quicker. She sprayed the pepper spray directly into his eyes, causing him to howl in pain. Thomas hesitated, torn between helping his companion and fleeing. Seeing her chance, Emily turned and ran towards her car. She could hear Thomas shouting behind her, but she didn't look back. She jumped into the driver's seat, started the engine, and sped out of the parking lot. Breathless and shaken, Emily drove straight to the Willow Creek Police Department. She rushed inside, clutching the memory card and her phone. "I need to speak to a detective," she said urgently to the officer at the front desk. "It's about a crime. I have evidence." Detective Sarah Lawson took Emily's statement and examined the video footage. Her expression grew graver with each passing second. "This is serious," Lawson said. "We'll need to track down this Thomas R. and the man in the video. Thank you for bringing this to us, Ms. Stevens. We'll keep you updated on the investigation." Over the next few days, Emily lived in a state of heightened anxiety. She kept her phone close, waiting for any news from the police. She also kept a closer watch on Jake, not wanting him out of her sight for long. Finally, Detective Lawson called. "Ms. Stevens, we've identified the man in the video. His name is David Miller. He was reported missing 2 weeks ago. Thanks to your information, we were able to locate him and arrest Thomas R. and his accomplice." Relief washed over Emily as she listened to Lawson's words. David Miller was now safe, and the men responsible for his ordeal were in custody. She couldn't believe how a simple transaction on Facebook Marketplace had led to uncovering such a horrific crime. Life slowly returned to normal for Emily and Jake. The PlayStation, once a source of excitement, had become a reminder of the dark experience. Emily decided to sell it, this time ensuring the transaction was safe and transparent. As she listed the PlayStation on Facebook Marketplace, she couldn't help but reflect on the events that had transpired. She had learned a valuable lesson about the potential dangers of online transactions. But she also felt a sense of empowerment. She had faced a terrifying situation and had come out stronger. The experience had also brought her closer to Detective Lawson, who became a friend and confidant. They often met for coffee, discussing everything from the latest case updates to their personal lives. Emily never forgot the man in the video or the nightmarish encounter in the mall parking lot. But she also knew that she had played a crucial role in bringing justice to an innocent victim, and that, more than anything, gave her a sense of peace and purpose. As she watched Jake play with his new, safer toys, Emily knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she was prepared to face them head-on. In the quiet corners of the internet, where deals are made and goods exchanged, stories like Emily's remain hidden beneath the surface. The silent market, as some called it, held secrets both mundane and malevolent, testaments to the complexities of human nature in a digital age. Emily's story served as a cautionary tale, a reminder that behind every screen, there are real people with real stories, some waiting to be told, and others best left untold. As she closed the chapter on that dark chapter of her life, Emily Stevens knew one thing for certain. She had survived the silent market, and she would never look at online shopping the same way again.